Hey, it finally happened. I have booked a top surgery date. I thought this was going to happen a long time ago. Well, I've been trying to work on it for a couple of years now, but from the time I had a consult to the time I actually booked surgery was a lot longer than I expected. So I want to talk about the process that I went through choosing a top surgeon and choosing the type of procedure that I felt was best fit for my body. The last couple of years, 3 years or so, I've been interested in top surgery. I was pretty straightforward with the type of procedure that I thought would fit my body the best. And I don't know how much background I want to give about the different procedures, but the two that are the most common are peri, or sometimes you hear it called keyhole, and then double incision. Double incision is the one that most people get. It's the one that has the two scars across your chest. And peri or keyhole is when there aren't any scars because all of the tissue is taken out from your areola. So those are the two that are mainly out there. I thought I was a perfect candidate for peri, but as I went through my consultations, I found out that that wasn't necessarily true. So let me start at the beginning. About 2 videos ago, I talked about having a consult for top surgery. That was with Dr. Aylward, who is a surgeon here in Kansas City. She has become really popular over the last few years, and I've been in a Facebook group, like a fan page for her. And I know a few people who have had surgery with her, so I just thought, hey, she's local, she's great, what's not to love? So I had a consult with her at the end of October. I think it was like the 28th of October. Didn't take very long to get in, about 3 weeks from when I called, and I liked her a lot. The consult went really well, but she told me that although I'm a candidate for peri, I'd have to have the procedure done in 2 different surgeries, which was a pretty big shock. So she wanted to do the first surgery to remove the tissue, and then 6 months later, she wanted to do a surgery to reposition my nipples. So that would be like obviously two different procedures, so 2 different costs. I'm not sure if the second one would be under anesthesia, but anyway, so I got my quote from her, which I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't realize you weren't going to get a quote the day you went in there. So I think I waited about maybe 2.5 weeks to get my quote. And I will say before I keep going that if you're like thinking about top surgery but you don't have the means yet, I would still highly recommend to get quotes, because I waited until like I really thought top surgery was a thing that was going to happen to start getting these quotes, and then it like took forever to have this happen. Look at that little kitty. So then it was really hard for me to be patient. Like every day that went by, I was getting more and more frustrated, waiting to hear from these doctors. So I would say, like, do it ahead of time. That way you don't get stuck in my situation and feel like you're in a rush. I mean, I had no reason to be in a rush except for dysphoria, and I'm just sick of having this chest. So, like I said, every day that goes by sucks. Alright, back to what I was saying. So, I got the quote from her 2 to 3 weeks later, and she gave me like 3 different quotes, and they ranged from $10,000 to $12,000, which I was like really blown away. That was way more than I expected. So when I was doing research on surgeons, like I said, I didn't even think I was going to get multiple quotes. So, but after hers, I was like, there's no way I can afford that. Background, I don't have insurance, so this is something I'm paying for out of pocket. This surgeon operates out of like a pretty big hospital, so some friends told me if you find someone that doesn't really do insurance, then you might find a more reasonable price. So I know a lot of the guys in the area, heard a few other surgeons from other people. One surgeon was Dr. Medalie in Ohio. I sent in an email consult for him. And then I did Dr. Raphael in Texas. Have a friend that each went to one of these doctors. And then the last surgeon I picked for a consult, and I can't remember exactly how I heard of him, was Dr. Wolf. Dr. Wolf is in Michigan, and he has a pretty large Facebook group that follows him. So that can give you a lot of information. I found out later one of my friends actually did go to Dr. Wolf, but I think I must have just been in a top surgery group and his name was just, in a few different posts, so I decided to look him up. So I got quotes from these three surgeons around the same time. This was maybe like beginning of November that I started sending these out. And it was just an email. You send a picture of your chest and you just wait to kind of hear like what procedure they want to do and what the cost's going to be. And then from there you can schedule your surgery. So, sorry, this is kind of a lot. I hope this is interesting to someone. I really wish I would have done research beforehand and known that like it was going to be a really difficult decision and process for me. Okay, so I talked about Dr. Aylward. So then I got a quote from Dr. Raphael. He took like 2 days to get back to me. Super quick, great communication. He quoted me $6,000 for double incision. That was the first time that I had really even considered double incision. He said he wouldn't do peri on me, but I guess he doesn't do a lot of peri, so I thought, okay, well, I'm still a candidate for peri, whatever. Wasn't really interested in him. So then I got my third quote from Dr. Medalie. I hope I'm saying that name right. And he quoted me for $7,500, but $200 to $400 varied cost to send tissue to the lab. So let's just say $8,000 is what he gave me. And he said that I should assume double incision, but he might be able to do peri, but he won't know until he sees me in person, which will be the day of my surgery. I didn't know how to react to that. That seemed like, kind of crazy, like how can I not know a procedure I'm getting until I go in? But I thought, hey, at least there's an option for peri. Like, none of these other surgeons have said that that's going to be something, so maybe I should just go with him. All right, so then the last consult I got was with Dr. Wolf, and Dr. Wolf gave me a quote of $6,400. That's pretty much his flat fee. It's less if you don't want nipple grafts. And the cool thing about Dr. Wolf is that he does informed consent. So you don't have to have a letter, where all these other doctors, I had to have a letter, which, I already had one. But it's cool that Dr. Wolf doesn't do that gatekeeping, and he just lets people get the surgery they feel is right for their body. He also is an affordable price. $6,400 is pretty good. And he doesn't take insurance. So again, a lot of these surgeons don't take insurance. That's why they're cheaper. Some of them do. I don't know. Maybe they just have a more affordable price, smaller practice, whatever the hell it is. Okay, so those are my 4 choices. And Dr. Wolf said that he would only do double incision on me. So for a long time, I was just thinking I was going to go with Dr. Medalie because he would maybe give me a chance for having peri. I still kind of wanted to go to Dr. Aylward because she's here in Kansas City, and she did say she could do peri on me, but the fact that it had to be done in 2 procedures is just not something that I can really afford right now. And yeah, and as I was thinking, okay, I started looking at results online and talking to people, and I thought, you know what? Why am I so obsessed with having peri? What's wrong with having double incision? I always thought I didn't want the scars, but I've seen a lot of people's results where they've faded and you can't really tell. And even with the scars, like a lot of people build up their chest, or like I don't know, they rock the scars, so there's not necessarily anything wrong with having them. And it took me a long time to come to that realization, but after seeing a lot of botched peri results and talking to people with peri results where they didn't feel flat or they felt like their nipples were too big or whatever the hell it was, I just realized that, hey, double incision is not that bad. It guarantees that you're going to be flat. Your nipples are going to be the right, like the male sizes. And I don't know, I came around to having that. So once I did that, I realized, okay, I'm not going to go to Dr. Medalie. I'm not going to pay $2,000 extra to see him, even though he is one of the best surgeons in the US. He's been doing it for a really long time. So then I decided against Dr. Raphael because I read online that he lost a patient. I don't know, I think it was 15 years ago. And it wasn't a trans guy. It was someone who was having like multiple procedures and was under for a really long time. But after I saw that, I couldn't unsee it, even though a lot of my friends or a lot of people I know went to him and had great results. I just didn't feel like it was the best. So I ended up picking Dr. Wolf in Michigan, and I scheduled my surgery for March 9th. So if you've just listened to the last 11 minutes of this video, you'll know when my surgery is. I'm planning on having double incision with Dr. Wolf. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really scared, and I'm hoping that this is the right choice. I sat around and thought about it for a really long time. Well, it felt that way. I guess it was really not. It was probably a couple weeks. But I just felt like I needed to make a decision. Dr. Wolf also had availability for me around spring break, so I don't have to take off a lot of work. And it just felt like it was the best for me. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If any of you have gone to Dr. Wolf, let's connect, talk about it. I plan on continuing to make more videos about my top surgery experience and giving you, an in-depth look at that. So look for those soon. I'm about 3 months away from having that surgery. And yeah, I keep thinking through all the possibilities with these surgeons, even saying it out loud on here. I'm like, did I make the right decision? I don't know. But I already put a deposit down, so I'm just going to hope for the best with Dr. Wolf. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. This video is really long, but I hope it's informative, and I'll catch you all later. All right, bye.